And so I got in between her like I should, and was talking to the guy, and he waited till I opened my mouth and he spit in my mouth.
Wow.
And it was bad, man. And I would rather have him like hit me in the face with a baseball bat than spit in my mouth.
What would you say to the believer who's like, and this was me, you know, I'm against abortion. I think it's evil. I think it should never happen unless, you know, unless she was raped, or, you know, if it was, you know, incest, or, you know, like the life of the mother is in jeopardy. How come those situations aren't justification enough to be able to terminate the pregnancy, you know, as they would try to make it sound?
This is so simple, you know, you just say, hey, who created that baby? God created that baby. Did the rapist create the baby? No, the rapist didn't create the baby. God created the baby. Rape is an evil and wicked, abominable sin, and rapists should get the death penalty. That's what we believe. But the child's still innocent, and God created this child, even out of a wicked act. He created the child. Life of the mother, let's work on saving both. You won't find a doctor that'll tell you you have to kill the child in order for the mother to live. You try to save the baby. Sometimes you have to deliver you probably can find doctors that would say that. I'm sorry, I recant that. But like the general surgeon said like a while back, like there's never a case during a pregnancy where you have to kill the baby. Sometimes you have to deliver the baby early. And as a result, if the baby's born too young, unfortunately, sometimes they do pass away because they're not able to survive outside of the womb. But the motive would always be to try to save both, right? Do everything you can to try to save both the mother and the child. In the case of incest, same thing. Who created that child? God created that child. That God is creator. Every human is made in his image, and every human, even if they're a result of rape or incest, is valuable, has dignity and worth, and is worth us fighting for to protect them.
Yeah. And I was just actually listening to Jeff handle that argument with rape, but you just simply say in the rape situation, we don't penalize the baby for the crimes of the father. Mm-hmm. And of course, that's biblically accurate as well, right? We don't suffer for the crimes of our fathers. But yeah, you don't kill. The baby doesn't deserve capital punishment for rape. The dad does deserve capital punishment for the rape, but we don't kill and off the child because we don't kill an innocent life because the dad, accosted the mother. It's just, we don't do it. When it comes to incest, the same thing. Mm-hmm. We don't do that. Yeah. So that's a good explanation there.
Yeah. Good answers. So would you guys say what would you say your I guess best moment or favorite moment was at a clinic, and what would you say was your worst encounter at a clinic or a meal?
You go out way more than me, so
yeah. I mean, the best is when, man, I remember we had so much oppression here from Planned Parenthood. They kind of changed their protocol. We call them the death escorts out there, who actually usher Planned Parenthood supporters, who usher women through the doors for the baby to be killed. But we had it bad, man. They used to put bullhorns in our ears, like we'd be preaching to the women, and we'd have to bring earplugs because there was bullhorns, boom, going. Wow. And so, man, you're out there for hours. You're preaching. You've got Satanists and transgender people and attacking you. You're thinking, man, nothing's happening here. What am I even doing here? This is vain. They can't even hear me because of all the noise. And I remember I was preaching down. I had these two bullhorns in my ear, and this dad comes out broken because of, what was going on. And the baby's saved. Or I remember there was this massive black Hebrew Israelite. This guy was like 6'8", yoked out. And I was standing next to somebody, and we're like, we're going to get just beat right now. And, because, I don't know if you ever encountered a black Hebrew Israelite. It's really hard. Yeah, they don't really let you talk too much. Actually, they believe that we as white men don't have the authority to handle God's word. So he was going at it, and I'm like, oh no, what's going to happen? All of a sudden, in the midst of all that, this couple comes down, they choose life for their babies. So it's just awesome when God really rescues. That's why in our Facebook post, we say God saves a baby, because it's him saving the baby. We can't do it. Our efforts are so meager, but God in his grace just uses the gospel to change hearts. A woman changed changed her mind because she said, I don't want to go to hell. And this was maybe three or 4 years ago. And that's just God working. That's awesome. The rough parts are, just stony hearts, cold hearts. I was face to face with a couple dads last week, and these men were really vile, and it wears on you. One time, physically, the worst thing that's happened to me, it's kind of gross, but there was a guy, and he was just going off at the mill. I mean, just like all up in one of our ladies' faces. And so I got in between her like I should, and was talking to the guy, and he waited till I opened my mouth, and he spit in my mouth.
Wow.
And it was bad, man. And I would rather have him like hit me in the face with a baseball bat and spit in my mouth. It was vile. And I was sick for like a week and a half afterwards.
Wow.
So yeah, physical stuff. But it's just the wear and tear. Any guy who's out there, especially guys like John Barros and Stephen Smith and Scott Hord, full timers out there. It's just the wear of it. It wears on you. It, it takes years off your life. I think it's all worth it, but it's definitely, it comes at a cost. Yeah.
I would say like the best parts about being out there, obviously when somebody drives by and says, I changed my mind, or I'm not going to do it. Those are the best of the best, when you see babies saved, or somebody drives by. We've had people come out, get out of the car, pull their 2-year-old out of the car and say, hey, this baby's alive because I was going to go to the abortion clinic. There were some Christians standing outside and I changed my mind. Here's the baby. Like those are the best. But also just like little moments too of, I remember one time I was standing out with my husband, he's preaching and an Uber driver drops a lady off, comes, stands or parks the car and is just listening to the preaching. There's a graphic image that one of us is holding. And he's just listening, and then you just see him start weeping. And so you just seeing God move. I remember a lady came out just guns a-blazing, like so angry, so mad about why we were out there. And then I just talked to her and explained to her while we were out there. She totally calmed down. She starts crying, ends up giving me a hug at the end. Like just seeing God start to change hearts and to open eyes and to expose evil. It's amazing to see what he does. Just God shows off. You know, like John Barrows says, I just show up and God shows off. Like, and then there's sometimes you go and there's just cars passing you and you get a million middle fingers and you feel like, why am I out here? But it's just God doing his work. We don't know what God's doing on those days, but we're just called to be obedient. We're not called for results. We're not called to get any of the credit or the glory.
Right.
We haven't saved one baby. God saves all the babies. We haven't saved one person. God saves all the people. So it's just an honor to be out there. It's an honor that God would use people like us to do his work.